Hey there, how's it going? Hope everyone's having a great week so far. We are back at it with another Workout Wednesday Live. Excited to be here. And we've got a really great challenge this week. So as you know, this is Community Month for Workout Wednesday. So each week for October, we are inviting a new member of the Workout Wednesday team to come in and give us a challenge, which is going to be really cool. So this week we've got a challenge from Liam Huffman, who is at Liam Does Tableau on Twitter. You can follow him. He's also on LinkedIn at Liam Huffman. Liam is a colleague of mine. I work with him at Evolytics here in Kansas City, and really excited to show off this challenge for you. So, and see if I can figure it out. So, what we're doing is simple, quote unquote, right? Simple year over year comparison for Superstore. Now, the wrinkle here is that we want to be able, that it says here we need to be able to change the date granularity by day, by week, or by month. And when we are looking at day or week, we need to be able to, we're going to be comparing, weekday to weekday, whereas opposed to when we're looking at month, we're going to be looking at the actual day, right? So what the difference here, right, is when we're looking at, if we look at day, right, what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to compare Monday to Monday as opposed to a date to a date, because as you know, dates shift around, right? So today is 10/14, right? August 14th. It's a Friday. However, last year, August 14th was not on a Friday. All right? So that's what we're trying to account for, is we want to be able to, but what we do want to look at is we want to look at this Friday of this year to this particular Friday last year and the year before and the year before, right? What are some reasons that we might be wanting to do that? Well, if you're especially if you're in the marketing world, you might run campaigns over certain weeks or days of the year, as opposed to, like Black Friday, right? For example, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, those things are on the same weekday every year, right? So they're not on the same date, right? So if you wanted to do a year-over-year comparison of your Cyber Monday website analysis, then you would be wanting to find, you would be wanting to do that on a weekday over weekday as opposed to a day over day. So that's what we're going to be looking at, and that's what we're going to be building. So let's jump right in. So we are going to be using the Superstore data here. So I'm just going to connect to the Superstore save data source in Tableau desktop. And the first thing that we're probably going to need to do is, he says, we are going to build a custom date range defaulted to the start of this calendar year through yesterday. So what we're going to do is we'll create a parameter, first thing, and I'm just going to call this the end date. All right, and it'll be a date. And for the purposes of this, for the purposes of being able to do some, so if we look at yesterday, today is 10/4, so yesterday is 10/3, 10/13. I could make this dynamic. I could make some calculations to make this dynamic, but for the purposes of this, I don't think I'm gonna do that. So I've got some videos on my YouTube channel if you're interested in how to make a dynamic date parameter for your workbooks. Please go check that out. So click OK for the end date, and then the start date, we'll just duplicate this, go into edit, call it the start date, And it's a date, and the current value is going to be a January 1st. Right? Click OK. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a we're going to calculate the max date. And that is the max date, the max of order date across the entire data set. Okay, so that's what we need. That's a field that we know we're going to need. We're also going to need to create a date filter. And that's going to be not yet, I don't believe. So I don't think I want to do that quite yet. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to figure out how to normalize all this stuff, right? So let's create a calculated field, and let's see here. We need to, let's do, oh yeah, so first thing we need to do is we need to calculate the number of years. We need to do a date diff off of this max date that we just created, right? So I'm going to call this the years difference, and it's going to be basically just a date diff on the year, and the start date is going to be the year of order date, and the end date is going to be the max date. And this is going to be the year. Actually, I don't even need that year because we're already taking place of the year here. So for every row in our data, we're going to be taking that order date and doing some date math on the max order date, and then doing some date math on that year, right? So this should give us a integer between 0 and 4, right? Or 0 and 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So 4 years of data, right? And where did that go? Did I save it? I don't think I did. Let's see. Nope, I didn't. So let's make that calculation again. So we'll do years diff. And then what we're going to do is we'll do date diff at the year level of order date minus the max date, or the max date minus the order date. Right? All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do some additional date math. We're going to start to normalize these dates, I believe. So let's do, what should we do here? We should do the date. We'll call this, we're going to start normalize. So this is norm date at the so this is going to be a date add. Actually, what we're going to do is what I need to do is I need to go to this year diff, because I want it to be the absolute value, right? Because right now what's going to happen is it's going to take the year minus, right? So it's actually going to be 0, -1, -2, -3. And what I want to do is I want it to be the positive number. So let's just wrap that in an absolute value there. Now we can do this, right? Date add, and this is going to be the norm date for, we'll do months first. We're going to add at the day level, and what we're going to do is 360 is the 364. No, 365. That is what's going to give us By doing the date math at the day level for 365 days, that's what's going to allow us to do it at the week date, right? So that's going to be allow us to look at week dates for the month, and then we'll do a similar thing. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to multiply 365 times the year difference. So that's going to be the year diff. Right, that's my interval that I want to add, and then my regular thing here is the order date. So for each order date in our data, right, this is what this is going to do. For every order date in our data, we are going to take that order date and add this many number of days, right? So if it's 0, then it's just going to be the order date, right? Because 365 times 0 is 0. If it's 1, it's 300, so it's going to add 365 days to the order date, and so on and so forth, right? So norm date months. So I need to create a new calculation like this, and I need to wrap it in a date because Tableau likes to do things sillily. So now we'll duplicate this. And then we'll do this for, actually what I guess I could do, actually, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do week date, or weekday, and this is going to be 364. And that's really the only change. 364 days allows us to do the Friday to Friday to Friday, as opposed to the date to the date to the date, right? So the 364 allows us to get rid of that that offset, right? So, and yes, before you say anything, yes, we know that leap days do weird things to the calendar. We could write some crazy logic to account for that. For the purposes of this, we don't really need to. Okay, so we'll click OK. That I'm going to change this from norm date months to norm date week date, so that we have, that's going to help just kind of level set everything, right? So now what we need to do is now we need to combine everything. We need to combine these two tables together, or we need to combine these two together based on whatever our little, right? So we have this, so if we look at this, right, we have this drop down here that we can change. So if we look at, week, it's going to change the levels of weeks. Change it to day, it's going to change our date level to a day. So what we need to do is create a new parameter. Call this date level. Change it to a string. And it's going to be a list, and this is day. This is week. This is month, right? And I'm going to leave these as lowercase, and you'll see why here in just a little bit. But I'm going to capitalize these, right? So this is a really fun trick. So the value is what Tableau sees, right? This is what Tableau analyzes, uses, whatever, right? Tableau uses the value. The display as is what the end user uses, or the end user sees, right? So this is where you can do some really cool stuff if you wanted to. You could name the values anything you wanted. You could name them red, green, blue, and the display as is day, week, month, right? You could really do whatever you wanted as long as you keep it, as long as you can keep it straight in the logic. Tableau you can name it whatever you want. But what's really powerful here is if you are doing date parts and you keep them as lowercase, you can actually use this value to do some date manipulation, which is really pretty cool. And that's what we're going to do in a little bit, but one step at a time. All right, so we've got the date level here. We've got our norm week date and weekday. Now what we need to do is we need to create a calculation that brings those together. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do, I'm going to call this, this is our norm date combined. And it's going to be case on our date level when month, then norm date weekday, else norm date week date. Right? And now what we can do here is the last thing that we need to do here. So let's look at what we've got here. Right? So if we bring this out to columns, do this as exact day, you can see here we've got a bunch of different days, right? And we still have 365 marks. Take sum of sales, right? It's there. Let's make sure this is working. Show the parameter. So you can see here nothing is changing, right? We have months changing, which is what we want, right? The month changes, but the week and day don't, okay? But what we want when we do this is we want this to be aggregated to the day or truncated to the day. When it's at week, we want this to be truncated to the week. And whenever we want this, whenever we have this selected as month, we want it truncated to the month. So the way we're going to do this, we're going to create another calculation based off of this norm date combined. So let's create a new calculated field. Let's call this norm date axis. And this is going to be date trunc. And this is where we're going to use that parameter, the date level parameter. Close that, and that works, right? Which is really powerful, right? So let's look at this again, right? So now, whenever this, we're just going to use whatever value is here to here, right? So you can see here, boom, 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 right? That's how those are going to connect. Now we'll click OK. Change this to an actual date. Take this field, put it up here, remove it. Now we'll just do exact date. And now you can see we've truncated our dates to the month level, to the week level, and to the day level. Right? Now, one thing you'll notice, we only have one line. We need 4. How are we going to do that? Well, we're going to go back to our normal order date, and we're just going to drag year, discrete year, on color. And that gives us our 4 lines. Let's see. Oh, this is where we need the date filter, right? Because this is going into 12.1. This is going all the way to 12.1. But what I actually want is I want it to be within these dates, right? So how are we going to do that? Well, we need to create a date filter. Let's see here. I'll call this our date filter. And we'll say start date is less, nope, I don't like it that way. We'll do norm date axis greater than or equal to the start date parameter, and norm date axis is less than or equal to the end date parameter. Click OK, go to drop this new date filter on the filters card, select true, and there we go. All right. One, right? And what's interesting here is you can see our norm date axis date is the same for all lines, right? So if we wanted to see what the actual order date is, we could drop this onto the tooltip. And you can see here we get a bunch of lines, right? So, or we get the star for the order date because there are multiple in each thing. So if we go here and we do minimum, right? Just like that. Now, let's see here. Let's see how this is working here. This is working pretty well. I like it. Okay, so now I feel like we've made it pretty far. I feel like this is pretty good. Let's go and create our bars now. Let's see here. 1122 44. Oh, we don't have dates in there. That's all right. Okay. Now let's go here. Actually, what I need to do first is I need to bring this to all data sources. Yep. We can go ahead and throw that onto context because we are using a few fixed date calculations. So that's what we'll do there. Let's see here. What are we going to do now? I think we'll go ahead and create our bars now. That looks good. So we'll say click on sheet 2. We need the year of order date on rows. And what we're going to do now is do sales on columns. And we will change this to alphabetic and we'll flip that, right? So now we have everything here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we've got that. Let's see what else. What do we got in here? Let's do. We'll drop year on color. Okay, that looks good. Make this entire view like that. We will add sum of sales to text, change this to a percent of total. So we get our number, or not percent of total, percent difference. And what we actually, so right now what it's trying to do is it's going up, right? But what we actually want to go do down. So it's trying to do it by previous, and that's why it says, that's why 2019, 2018, or 2020, 2021, and 2022. But what we actually want to do is it for next, so that makes that stand right up there. Excuse me. And then what we'll also do is we'll take sum of sales, drop it on there. Let's edit these to the sum of sales and the difference. That looks good. Wrap this in quotes. Or wrap these in parentheses is what I meant to say. There we go. Click apply. Do some more formatting. On this is sum of sales on the, yep. There we go. Yep. So we'll do that. And this is the percent of total. So we'll do it as a percentage with 1 decimal place. Now we'll go here and we need to add in these little arrows. So we'll grab our up arrow, come back over here, and then we'll copy the 0.0%. We'll add a semicolon. And that will change, that will say, so anything before the first semicolon is how do you want to format the positive numbers. Everything after the first semicolon is how do you want to format the negative numbers. And we want to use our negative or downward arrow. And you can see here this changed, right? So our negative symbol went away. We had just have the down arrow. And we have an up arrow here. And then we have this, what we could do, interestingly, I wonder, is could we do this. Yeah, now we're talking. Okay, so look at this. So we have this, but can we make it null? I don't know if we can make that. All right, so let's just finish this here. Nope, not that way. Right there, nope. Right there, yeah, there we go. And then we have that as the 0. No, because that's not 0, that's null. Because what could be, because then you can come in back in here. We get rid of these parens because I added them within the custom formatting. Just like that. Look at that. I did it. I feel pretty cool. I feel pretty cool about myself there, figuring that out. Okay, so what this does is it's only going to add the parens and the indicator if there is a percentage. So therefore, our bottom line, since there is nothing next, we won't be able to do that, which is really cool. So the next thing we need to do is we need to format our actual sales as currency, 2 decimal places, and the 1,000 display unit, just like that. All right. And let's see. Let's go ahead and do. Let's drop our opacity a little bit, maybe to 75. Add a border. Now we'll do some formatting to drop it down. To drop all of this stuff off, right? Get rid of our header. But now, as you can see here, if we look at the final, we have this, we have the years here. We have the year kind of going down, the year text going down. So what I think, what I'm gonna do here, I'm actually gonna show the header real quick. So I'm going to create a secondary access so that we can do this. And it's just going to be the min of 10,000. Because I don't really like how it's kind of right on there. So what I'll do now is I'll take sum of sales off, add year to labels, format our labels to be match mark color, and we'll maybe bump it up to 12, maybe do it as semi-bold like that. Alignment needs to be like, yeah, like that. And then I'll also bring down I'll take off my border and I'll take my opacity all the way down. So now we just have these lines just kind of sitting down here that look like they don't have anything to do, right? But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take sum of sales. I'm going to drop it on. Tableau says, "Oh yeah, you did a dual axis. You must want bar or circles." I don't. Let's take that off. You can see things are looking a little weird. Don't forget to synchronize. And then you can see here we added that, right? So we have let's see. So if I added opacity back, all right, you can see here you'd be able to see where that that line is, right? Those bars. But do that, drop that. Now we can show our header, or unshow header. Now we can continue to format. Get rid of this header. Continue to format, get rid of now our dividers. There we go. So now we've got that. I think the size of these lines is bumped up a bit. There we go. Let's edit our axis to just get rid of the title. Like that. And we're ready to make a dashboard. 1150 by 600. 1150 by 600. let's do a vertical. Always start with a vertical. Do 20 pixels of padding around the whole thing. We will add let's see what we're going to do here. Well, we know that there will be a blank. We need to add a blank in here. And then we need to add a horizontal down here. We will add our line chart, add our bar chart, get rid of our titles, maybe. Ooh, that could work. Let's keep our titles. Let's get rid of this guy here for now. We'll do hover over a date to filter the chart to the right. Filter the total sales chart. Make this 10. Make it, let's see, they did kind of a, maybe a medium and a blue color. Oh, that's green. Click OK. Remember, let's just take this over here, take that over there. Hover over a year. Year to highlight the sales trend. Click OK. Now we've got that. This is our blank. Let's add another horizontal in here. Like that. Let's do a text box. We'll call it sales by sales year over year by. Make this 15. Yeah, make it 18. Medium. And now we'll add our parameter in here, our date level parameter. Don't show the title, move that over here. And then we have a bunch of space. And then we have a vertical. And we'll do our parameter for start date, for end date. Let's see, what do we got in here? I've lost everything. Oh yeah, so just a vertical right now. Okay, so just the vertical. Inside the vertical first, we'll put our text box. That says current year value, right? Current year dates in view, and we'll make those medium. So, and then we'll do a horizontal inside of that. Add start date, remove the title, remove the title. You can start to see how this is coming together, right? So then we'll do 2, very, very simple, 2, click OK. Whoop, that didn't go where I told Tableau to put it. Don't you love it when Tableau does that? Edit width to 30. Yeah, that looks good. All right, make this go right. Oop. There we go. Make this right there. We'll do this guy maybe right there. There we go. It's starting to come together. Right there. That goes here. Whoa. Okay. Why did that happen, Tableau? Why did you do that? Huh. That's very strange. Where does it go, though? That's what I want to know. So if I do, you can see here, now I'm just curious, right? So you have our horizontal start date, but if I do it just goes away. It just disappears. That's so strange. Okay, well, we'll just leave that. All right, let's bump this guy down. So that he's down there. There we go. I don't know. That looks pretty good to me, don't you? Let's bump that up. There you go. There it is. There's that. Now what? What are we going to do? Oh, yeah, we need the actions, right? Okay, so... Alright, so what we need to do is we will do a dashboard action. We'll do a change. All right. Let's see. What's the action here? So when I do this, it should filter on it should filter on May, right? Yeah. Yep. July, so I'm okay, so what about when I do week? Okay. Interesting. Okay. All right. I need to well, first, pretty simple. We'll do dashboard action hover highlight on sheet 2 to sheet 1 on hover on year. That's pretty easy. Done. But what I need to do here is filter on month. So I need to filter on the date part, right? All right, so let's do create parameter. We'll just let's just do 8 for now. We'll call this parameter date filter. Date part of the date level of order date equal to parameter date filter. Bar chart filter. All right. Okay. Oh, okay, so let's just, okay, so that, yeah, we don't want that. So let's just change this to a min of 0. And then we'll need to edit our axis. To start automatic fix start at 0. There we go. All right, so what I'm doing here, you can see, is I'm just trying to get this to work. Because, oh yeah, we don't need to show that now. Show header, get rid of that. Okay, so what I've done here, as you've kind of watched me go through here, is what I'm doing is I've created a date parameter filter, which is just going to take the date part of whatever I'm in, right? So my belief is that when I do my parameter action in a minute, I want it, whenever I hover, I want Tableau to take the date part of whatever level I'm doing, right? So right now I have it at 8. I have my date level set to month, which means it should find the 8th month, insert it in here, and then I can take and then I'm using that to just say, and then I created this bar chart filter here. Does the date level of order date equal the parameter date filter of 8? And when it does, do that, right? Okay, so let's do, so I think this should work. So let's do dashboard actions, change parameter on hover, sheet 1 of the parameter I want to change is date level. The field. There are no fields that it will allow. Source field. Okay. Yeah, that's not what I want to do, because it's just going to break that up. What I want to do is date part, or just feel like I'm really close. Because that's working the way that I want it to, because it's filtering on August. Yep. It's working. I just need it to be dynamic. Actions. Do I just do potentially to this? Let's do this. This is date part filter. Change it to a dimension. Add that to detail. Second, yeah, that breaks everything up. Because I have that's weird. Oh, not date level. Parameter date filter. Ugh. And I want it to be on the norm axis date. That was. And whenever it's 0, make it null. How do we do that? Because I don't want it to filter. Right? Because if I do that, then it's just going to break. So it's working. And then it just goes away whenever I take it off. And that's not right. How about min? Nope. Why not? Oh, is it because I didn't do it on hover? Dashboard parameters. Yeah, on hover. Okay. Whenever I hover on sheet 1, well, let's just see. Parameters, date filter. 1. Why is it on 1? No, this is not going to work. Dang it. Okay, let's see. Take that out. Okay, maybe I need to do it with set actions here. So remove this, change set values from sheet 1. Okay. unhover sheet 1, assign values. Okay. Ooh, getting there. Nope. Ooh. Oh no, it's not working because do I only want it? Let's remove it from there. Maybe on sales. Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't want that because that's gonna make that go wild. Okay, but I'm close, right? But ooh, I did it. Haha. There it is. All right. So now what we need to go do here is do sort field. Or do they do that? I don't know. Let's see. Nope. Yep. All right. So I did a set action to do that. Cool. So I did a set action to, that was really easy. I was making that harder than it needed to be. All right, cool. There you go. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Whew. All right. So set action here. Let's see what I did with a set action. I just did a set action based off of this norm date axis, and then whenever I did that, I just did only include what's in the set on this bar chart filter, and then in my set action, my dashboard action, I did a set action on hover to target the date axis that I created. Whenever I run the action, whenever I hover on something, it will assign values to that. And then whenever I clear the selection, it will add everything to it. Nice. Cool. All right. So there you go. Bada bing, bada boom. Easy peasy. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. That was good. And we'll talk to you next week. Go forth and viz.